The restaurant Emilia, located in the bustling San Cristobal neighborhood of Buenos Aires, was a popular establishment among locals. However, few know that in late March 1973, its patrons unwittingly became part of a horrifying story. Let's delve into the events that unfolded in Argentina during that time. Emilia Basil was born in 1911 in Beirut, the capital of Lebanon. Determined to escape family conflicts and financial hardships, she decisively seized the opportunity to leave her homeland and embarked on a long journey that led her to Argentina. She brought only a small suitcase and a notebook containing contacts of Lebanese acquaintances who had settled in Buenos Aires. Upon arrival, Emilia took up residence in a boarding house near the port, run by Dora Ramos. It was this woman who helped the immigrant learn her first Spanish words and gave her the nickname the Turk. Emilia always sought support and wise counsel from Dora, consistently paid her rent on time, and diligently helped with house cleaning and kitchen work, understanding that maintaining good relations with the landlady could open new doors. Dora, who had years of experience hosting immigrants, asked each tenant to prepare traditional dishes from their native cuisine. She particularly enjoyed Emilia's Lebanese culinary creations. As life began to improve, Emilia became eager to find permanent employment. Thanks to Dora's assistance, she secured a position at a cold storage warehouse, where she would work for an entire decade. The woman was remarkably hardworking, but she didn't neglect her personal life either. Fate brought her together with Felipe Ruedo, a Peruvian 13 years her junior, in one of the bars in the Constitution district. He recognized her, having seen her several times at the cold storage warehouse where she worked. Felipe worked as a buyer for a prestigious restaurant in the city center. Each time he came to the warehouse for meat, he admired the strength and skill of this woman, who handled the butchering of carcasses as well as any man. The age difference proved no obstacle for the couple. They soon married and settled in house number 2201, on Garaya Street in the Cristobal district. Their life followed a strict routine. At dawn, Felipe would head to the restaurant, where he combined the roles of manager and general worker, while Emilia went to the cold storage warehouse. Over time, the couple negotiated with their landlord, Jose Patriello, nicknamed Tanu, about purchasing the house and lot. They had managed to save a considerable sum, but it still wasn't enough. During this period, Emilia began complaining about the exhausting work and early morning hours. By this time, the couple had 3 growing daughters, Florinda, Rosa, and Mirda. Naturally, their mother wanted to spend more time on their upbringing and ensure them a decent future. Eventually, the family reached an agreement with Jose. They would put down their savings as a first payment, and pay the remaining amount in installments. Jose accepted the proposal but set one condition: he would continue living in the back room of the house until the debt was fully paid. The couple agreed to this living arrangement. After this, Emilia left her job at the cold storage warehouse and began developing plans for her own business. Remembering the praise her Lebanese dishes received at the boarding house, she decided to open a restaurant. During those years, Buenos Aires was experiencing a period of rapid development. Capital was flowing into the Argentine capital, and new restaurants were appearing everywhere. The constant influx of immigrants created fertile ground for various businesses to thrive. Emilia leased a space and opened Emilia Restaurant, a name that in Arabic means beautiful and graceful woman. The restaurant's menu consisted of traditional Lebanese dishes, and the establishment quickly gained popularity. Every morning, Emilia would wake up alongside her husband, after which they would both head off to their respective businesses. The restaurant became so successful that it became the favorite lunch spot for employees of the Italian's TV channel. Despite the good profitability, the income still wasn't enough to fully settle their debt with Jose. As time passed, Jose began showing an unhealthy interest in Emilia. Taking advantage of her husband's absence, he tried to win her affections. Emilia rejected his advances but kept quiet about it, fearing eviction. In such a case, the family would not only lose the ability to pay the remaining amount for the house but would also forfeit the money they had already invested. The situation weighed heavily on Emilia, but the thought of ending up on the street with her husband and daughters frightened her even more. Felipe worked diligently for his family's well-being. The same scenario repeated day after day. Emilia would rise before dawn to prepare everything necessary for the restaurant, and at 4 a.m., Felipe would leave for work. Shortly after, Jose would wake up and immediately begin pestering Emilia with his persistent advances. The homeowner pursued the woman relentlessly, as if possessed. According to Emilia's close ones, she lived in constant fear but couldn't fight back. However, on March 24, 1973, the situation took an unexpected turn. The day began as usual. Emilia saw off her husband, who left for work earlier than normal, and soon Jose appeared with his usual harassment. This time, Emilia didn't just evade his advances but actively resisted. This behavior only enraged Jose, and he became more aggressive. In the heat of the struggle, he was causing Emilia pain, but she managed to break free. She hurried to her part of the house, silently passing her daughter's bedrooms to avoid disturbing their sleep, and retrieved a nylon rope from her belongings. Jose remained in the inner courtyard, waiting for the moment to launch another attack. However, Emilia unexpectedly struck first, catching him off guard. Using all her strength, she strangled her tormentor with the nylon rope in a matter of minutes. Later in her testimony, Emilia described this moment as liberation. She felt relief knowing that Jose would never bother her again, and now she could live peacefully with her family. If you enjoyed this video, please support my channel by subscribing and hit the bell icon to never miss my next video. After the deed, Emilia faced a challenging task: disposing of the evidence. Displaying remarkable composure, she placed Jose's body in a large crate, carefully disguising it as storage supplies, covering it with vegetables and bags of potatoes intended for the restaurant kitchen. The camouflage was so skillful that no one could have imagined what lay beneath the produce. Maintaining her composure, Emilia continued her usual work at the restaurant. She opened the establishment at the regular time, served customers with her usual friendliness, and locked up in the evening as always. Meanwhile, she contemplated a plan for the final disposal of the body, understanding that she needed to act cautiously, maintaining the established routine to avoid arousing suspicion. The next morning, long before dawn, Emilia began her work. While she routinely chopped ingredients for the day's menu, a horrific scene unfolded in the kitchen. The proprietress methodically dismembered Jose's body, placing the fragments in a boiling pot. Her goal was to gradually eliminate all traces of the crime. By March 26, several days after the murder, the restaurant was operating as usual. Dishes containing Jose's remains were cooking in the oven, which Emilia used as regular meat. During these days, she continued serving traditional dishes, maintaining the establishment's reputation among satisfied customers. Jose's disappearance was first noticed by his brother, who came to visit and found him absent. Although his brother's absence was surprising, he didn't yet suspect what had happened. After 3 unsuccessful attempts to contact Jose, his brother went to the police. When officers arrived at Emilia restaurant, the proprietress claimed she hadn't seen Jose for several days either. Emilia maintained her usual routine, rising before dawn and preparing various dishes for lunch, from hearty soups to traditional Arabic meat pies and tabbouleh salad for regular customers. The kitchen stored many different types of meat, and no one could determine their origin, whether beef, pork, or human flesh. During the investigation, police discovered that Emilia mixed her victim's meat with other varieties. Once, she prepared pancakes where human meat was mixed with beef to mask the unusual taste. The abundance of spices also helped conceal the presence of 2 types of meat in the ground mixture. However, Emilia made a serious blunder. She kept the final fragments of Jose's body in a crate, covering them with only a thin layer of vegetables and other kitchen ingredients. She planned to dispose of this evidence soon. Emilia couldn't foresee that her plan would fail due to circumstances beyond her control. On March 27, for days after the murder, the garbage truck didn't come to Garaya Street to collect waste, which disrupted her plans. One of the building's residents discovered a container filled with spoiled vegetables and fruits at the garbage collection area. Emilia had left it there, and an unbearable stench emanated from the crate. The alarmed woman hurried to inform Emilia's daughter about this find, complaining that the restaurant's waste was making the entire neighborhood practically unbreathable. After hearing the neighbor, the daughter immediately approached her mother with a suggestion to pack all the garbage in an airtight bag to eliminate the stench of rotting waste. Emilia's reaction was unexpectedly aggressive. She harshly ordered her daughter not to touch anything and leave immediately, threatening to call law enforcement. In the midst of these events, another neighbor, a regular restaurant patron, decided to investigate the contents of the box containing rotting food using a stick. Under a layer of vegetables and fruits, he discovered a decomposed male body and immediately contacted the police. Law enforcement responded promptly, especially since they already had complaints from other residents of the building. Before examining the gruesome discovery, they conducted a search of the premises where the Lebanese restaurant Emilia's had operated for many years. During a thorough investigation, the detective team found additional fragments of the dismembered body. In their further search, police discovered the skull of the missing man with traces of boiling, which Emilia had carefully wrapped in old newspapers. After her arrest, the restaurant owner was immediately taken to the police station for questioning. Once there, Emilia's first action was to categorically declare the innocence of her husband and daughters. She insisted that she had acted alone, and indeed the investigation found no evidence indicating any accomplices. As the motive for the crime, the woman cited unbearable harassment from Jose. With a trembling voice, she recounted the torturous months when her only thought was getting rid of the persistent stalker. Emilia confessed that she constantly imagined how this nightmare would continue endlessly, and lived in fear of potential violence. Concluding her confession, she firmly stated that despite not being proud of her actions, she would do exactly the same thing if it all happened again. In the courtroom, the woman coldly and meticulously described the murder process, how she took the victim's life, dismembered the body, and spent 3 days boiling the head in kitchen cookware. According to Emilia, she only stopped the boiling because she was tired of seeing her tormentor's face within the restaurant walls. After wrapping the remains in newspaper, she admitted to investigators that her crime would have remained unsolved if the garbage had been collected on time or if someone had helped her move the box of rotting vegetables to a more remote location. The detailed confession was sufficient for a conviction in the murder of Jose Patriella. The court sentenced Emilia to 10 years in prison. She served 6 years in the women's correctional facility before being released early in November 1979. By the time of her release, she was 74 years old. Local residents later reported seeing the freed Emilia walking past the location where her restaurant had once stood, though by then the establishment had ceased to exist. Emilia's story has become one of the dark urban legends of Buenos Aires. What is known for certain is that after killing Jose, she not only dismembered his body but somehow used the remains in preparing dishes for her restaurant. Thus, unsuspecting patrons of the establishment unknowingly became participants in a horrific act of cannibalism. Many people are still horrified by the mere thought that dozens of individuals unwittingly consumed human flesh. This story makes us reflect on how vulnerable we are when trusting others with the preparation of our food. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.